Welcome, curious minds, to the Religious Studies Podcast.
Hello there.
Today, we're embarking on a truly immersive deep dive. We're heading, spiritually speaking, to Greenland.
A fascinating place religiously.
Absolutely. We're going to explore its unique religious journey, tracing this path from, well, ancient Inuit traditions
Way back.
through the really transformative arrival of European Christianity, and then right up to its dynamic sort of syncretic present.
It's a journey that gives us a rare window, I think, into how worldviews don't just, clash. They also profoundly merge and adapt. We'll see the incredible resilience of these belief systems and the human capacity to reinterpret the sacred.
And we've got a great stack of sources to guide us, haven't we?
Yeah.
Historical accounts, ethnographic stuff, contemporary reflections.
Yeah, really rich mix. It gives us multiple angles.
So our mission for this deep dive, essentially, is to unpack the intricate core tenets of traditional Inuit religion, then understand the powerful and, let's be honest, often disruptive impact of European Christian missions,
Definitely disruptive.
and then observe how these two distinct spiritual worlds have kind of woven together.
Yeah, creating this vibrant and, importantly, enduring religious identity in modern Greenland.
You're in for some, I think, genuinely surprising facts and some really profound insights into how cultures negotiate and redefine the sacred when traditions meet new faiths.
It's a classic case study in many ways.
Okay, so let's step back in time. Let's try and immerse ourselves in the spiritual world of the traditional Inuit. Our journey starts with how they understood the very fabric of existence.
Right, their cosmology.
And it reveals a cosmology far richer and more interconnected than maybe many of us might initially imagine. Our sources tell us that the traditional Inuit cosmology envisioned the world not as a single reality, but as two distinct yet intimately connected dimensions.
And what's crucial to grasp here, I think, is that this wasn't just some philosophical idea. It was their lived reality. It permeated everything.
Daily life.
Exactly. There was the visible, the, quote, ordinary world, the land, the sea, the animals, where human life unfolded, hunting, family, daily survival, all that. But then, layered over it, intertwined with it, was an invisible world. Teeming with beings, forces.
Powerful forces.
Yeah, powerful forces that constantly influence the visible. And what's truly fascinating here is just how closely these two realms were bound.
Not separate, then.
No, not really. It emphasized this constant dynamic interplay rather than some strict, distant separation. This wasn't a remote heaven or hell kind of thing.
Okay.
It was an ever-present spiritual layer that demanded continuous engagement. The core insight, I suppose, is that the Inuit lived in a profoundly porous universe.
Porous, that's a good word.
Yeah, where the sacred wasn't distant, it was woven right into the fabric of daily life.
So there are consequences to actions.
Big time. For the world to maintain its proper course, for cosmic order or cosmos to be upheld, humans had crucial religious obligations.
Right.
And neglecting these could lead directly to chaos. Not just, spiritual upset, but tangible, life-threatening chaos. Failed hunts, devastating storms.
Wow.
So it demonstrates this profound sense of human responsibility within the cosmic design. Individual actions could have universal repercussions.
I'm really struck by how different that is from, say, a typical Western understanding of a singular creator God. Does this absence of a creator God imply a different kind of relationship with the cosmos for the Inuit?
Oh, absolutely.
Our sources note that, unlike many religions we might be familiar with, Inuit myths don't feature that singular creator. The world simply is, but maybe in a malleable, ever-forming state.
Exactly. It implies a cosmology where existence is more about ongoing processes, transformations, rather than a single divine act of creation. Their origin myths, they don't explain a single beginning so much as focus on how things gradually came to be the way they are now.
Like adaptations.
Kind of. For instance, our sources mention this myth of humans rising directly from the earth, becoming too numerous to sustain themselves, and then a great flood reducing their numbers.
Interesting.
Now, this isn't really a story of divine judgment in the way we might think of it. It's more a narrative explaining the balance of life in the land and the need for adaptation. It speaks to this continuous process of becoming, a constant negotiation with an existing powerful world, rather than a top-down creation and dominion kind of thing.
And acting as the vital bridge between these two worlds, the visible and the invisible, was the religious specialist, the angakkuit, the shaman,
Mm,
Our sources describe this figure as possessing really unique abilities.
indeed. The angakkuit was absolutely central to maintaining this cosmic balance. They possessed this unique ability to perceive beyond the ordinary,
To see into that other dimension.
Exactly. To travel between these dimensions, often in a trance state, frequently with the aid of powerful helper spirits,
Okay.
they could communicate directly with, and sometimes even manipulate, these spirits and unseen forces to avert crises.
So practical intervention.
Wow. Very practical. Whether it was mediating with the powers that govern the hunt, healing the sick, finding lost souls, the angakkuit was the essential mediator. Their role wasn't just about ritual, it was active, often perilous engagement with the unseen.
Perilous.
Oh yeah, these journeys were considered dangerous, but it was to ensure the survival and well-being of the community. So they were figures of immense power, but also immense responsibility.
Now let's turn to a concept that I found particularly captivating, really fundamental to this worldview.
Inuit.
Ah, yes.
Ah.
The Inuit believed that many things in nature were ensouled, possessing a distinct life force. This wasn't just abstract, right? It meant everything from a stone to the weather had a living, almost human-like essence.
Yes, exactly. Inuit can be translated as it's human, derived from Inuk, meaning human. It embodies what we in religious studies often call animism.
Animism, right.
The belief that spirits or souls inhabit natural objects, phenomena, even abstract concepts, making them alive and sentient. It's this powerful, animating force that made animals, plants, stones, natural phenomena, even things like sleep or reason, alive. And in a profound way, human-like in their agency and influence.
So not just alive, but having agency.
Yes. The truly powerful insight of Inuit, I think, is that it dissolves that Western distinction between nature and personhood.
Mhm.
For the Inuit, the land, the weather, the animals, they weren't just resources, they were relatives, demanding respect, negotiation, a delicate balance, not just extraction.
Relatives, that's powerful.
It is. To give you a vivid example, there's this account from the Danish priest H.C. Glahn, who lived among the Inuit in the 1760s. He recorded a Greenlander explaining that Sleep's Inuit had come over him.
Sleep's Inuit.
Yeah, and when Glahn asked what it looked like, the reply was, just like a human, but it is nothing but sleep. He always sleeps and owns all sleep, which he then pours out over humans. For the rest, he is nothing but soul, or nothing but soul.
Wow, that's incredibly vivid.
Isn't it? It really highlights the personification of abstract concepts, making them tangible, relatable, even agents in daily life. This worldview profoundly shaped Inuit ethics, their hunting practices, their entire relationship with the environment.
So, if practically everything in nature possessed this animating Inuit, what about humans themselves? This deep dive now leads us to the heart of human existence for the Inuit, their nuanced understanding of the soul.
Right, the human soul.
The Inuit had a distinct understanding, quite different from typical European interpretations, it seems. Humans possess not one, but two primary souls, Tarnek and Atek, each with its own role, its own incredible journey.
Indeed. Let's start with Tarnek. This was the life soul, the very essence that gave vitality, animation to the body.
Okay, the life force.
Pretty much. And it was understood to be quite mobile. It could actually travel outside the body, particularly during times of illness or in dreams.
So that explains out-of-body experiences, maybe.
Potentially, yes. Or altered states of consciousness, feeling out of it during a fever. After death, it was absolutely crucial for the bereaved, through specific, very carefully observed rituals, to ensure the Tarnek reach one of two designated death realms.
Two realms.
Yes, the sky world or the realm beneath the sea.
Okay.
Our sources state that, well, relatively little is known about the specifics of these realms, but the undersea realm, being close to vital prey animals, might have been the preferred destination.
Suggesting a link to life, sustenance.
Exactly, a connection to continued sustenance and the cycle of life. Crucially, though, and this is a profound contrast with later Christian beliefs,
Yes.
these realms were not associated with reward or punishment for actions in life.
No judgment.
No judgment. The journey was about safe passage, integration into the next phase of existence, not moral reckoning.
That's significant.
Very. And if a Tarnek didn't reach its destination properly, maybe the rituals weren't done right, it could become a wandering, potentially malevolent spirit.
A threat.
A threat, yeah. Causing unrest among the living, which underscores the deep importance of correct burial rituals and the community's responsibility to the deceased.
And then there's Atek, the name soul. This sounds fascinating.
It is. This soul was intimately tied to a person's name and possessed a truly unique characteristic. It could inhabit an animal or another human with the same name after death.
Really? So the name carried the soul.
In a way, yes. This led to the widespread and very personal custom of naming newborns after deceased family members,
Ah,
thereby transferring the deceased's identity, their characteristics, to the new generation.
so it was more than just remembrance.
Oh, much more. It was a powerful cultural practice, you see. It was a way to actively keep the essence, the spirit, even certain qualities of loved ones alive within the community, ensuring continuity, a living connection between past and present.
So identity transcended individual life.
In a very real sense, yes. This belief in the Atek soul's transfer meant that a person's identity transcended individual biological life. And fascinatingly, our sources tell us this practice even continued in many areas after Christianity was introduced.
Wow, that shows its resilience.
Absolutely. It highlights how new religious frameworks often integrate, rather than entirely erase, deeply held indigenous beliefs about identity and continuity.
Okay, so we have these two dimensions, the angakkuit as a bridge, Inuit and everything, the two souls. And tying all these intricate concepts together was this foundational master concept, sila.
Sila. Yes.
It's a term so profound, multifaceted, it really sits at the very heart of the Inuit worldview, doesn't it? Encompassing world, weather, air, knowledge, reason, consciousness, and crucially, balance.
And that last aspect, balance, is indeed the key to unlocking its profound meaning. Sila was understood as the special Inuit that permeated and sustained the entire world.
The world's soul, almost.
You could think of it that way. And it had to be kept in balance. An imbalance in Sila could manifest as tangible, life-threatening disruptions in the environment. Sudden, violent storms, prolonged bad weather, the disappearance of prey animals, things that directly impacted survival in the harsh Arctic.
Right.
But Sila wasn't just external. The human mind also possessed Sila.
The mind.
Yes. Losing one's mind was seen as being without Sila, an internal imbalance mirroring the cosmic one and equally terrifying.
Fascinating.
The profound insight of Sila, I think, is that it collapses those artificial Western divides between mind and matter, individual and cosmos. For the Inuit, the source of imbalance, both cosmic and individual, was often attributed to human transgression. Breaking religious prohibitions, known as taboos, or neglecting ritual obligations.
So human actions again?
Directly linked.
Yeah.
This emphasizes the profound, direct, and immediate interconnectedness of human action and the natural world. Individual ethical behavior quite literally had cosmic consequences for the well-being of everyone.
This profound connection between human action and cosmic balance is beautifully illustrated, I think, through those two particularly powerful Inuits who could react strongly to human taboo violations. The moon and the sea.
Ah, yes, the moon man and the sea woman.
Personified figures looming large in the Inuit spiritual imagination, directly impacting their hunter-gatherer existence.
Absolutely. While, regional differences existed in their specific significance and the myths around them, both were central protectors of animals in that hunter-gatherer culture. Meaning their favor and appeasement were absolutely essential for survival.
Got it.
Our sources provide a really captivating origin myth of the moon, found in text 3.1. It tells of the moon, who is a man, and the sun, his sister, living together.
Okay.
The sister, suspicious of who was lying with her in the dark, secretly smeared her hands with lamp soot.
Oh.
To her horror, she discovered it was her own brother.
Oh, wow.
In a visceral act of defiance, anguish, really, she cut off one of her breasts, offering it to him with these chilling words. "Since you love me so much, eat me."
Goodness.
She then lit a lamp and ascended to the sky, becoming the sun. The moon followed, but his lamp only glowed faintly.
Explaining the difference in light.
Exactly. Explaining why he shines less brightly and also why he needs to constantly hunt seals his lamp, needing fuel.
Right.
And the sparks from his lamp became the stars.
Amazing story.
It is. This myth not only explains the origins of celestial bodies and their distinct characteristics, but it also connects the moon to hunting, to sustenance, and profoundly hints at the dangers and consequences of violating deeply ingrained taboos like incest.
Which could disrupt the natural order.
Precisely. It's a story of creation, consequence, and cosmic role setting, all wrapped up in one narrative.
And then there's the sea woman, often referred to as Havit's Motor, or the mother of the sea.
A hugely important figure.
She was originally a human girl, our sources tell us, who was thrown into the sea by her father for refusing to marry. A tragic tale of defiance, exile.
Yes, a devastating origin. But from that beginning, she became the powerful ruler and protector of all sea animals.
So, literally holding the lives of the Inuit in her hands.
In a very real sense, yes. especially in a hunting society dependent on the sea.
So the crisis of misfangst, or poor hunt, that wasn't just bad luck.
No, definitely not just bad luck. It was seen as a direct consequence of human moral failing.
How so?
Our sources explain that human taboo violations, maybe neglecting an animal ritual or breaking a social custom, would manifest as smuts, like dirt or pollution, in the sea woman's hair and home.
Visceral.
Very. Imagine the fear in the community when the animals vanished. It was a direct spiritual warning that the delicate balance of Sela had been catastrophically disrupted. In her anger, she would withhold the prey animals.
Leading to scarcity.
Life-threatening scarcity, yeah. For the Inuit communities.
What could they do?
This is where the angakkuit comes in again.
Yeah.
To remedy this, the angakkuit had to undertake that dangerous spirit journey to the sea woman's dwelling, literally risking their own soul. Text 3.2, a compelling account from Knud Rasmussen, vividly describes an angakkuit named Utsatakonjitsuk, the blind, who journeys to her frigid, otherworldly domain.
The blind.
Yes, that's his name. He battles her attempts to throw him into darkness and, with the help of his powerful spirits, meticulously cleanses her hair of the human smuts.
He cleans her hair.
Yes. And as he cleaned, it wasn't just one or two animals returning. It was a magnificent, teeming tide of bears, foxes, seals, whales, birds, a complete life-affirming renewal.
Directly linking morality to abundance.
Exactly. Linking human morality to the cycle of abundance and scarcity. This myth highlights the angakkuit's critical, perilous role as a mediator, the severe consequences of breaching taboos, and the cyclical nature of life with animals returning from her house in spring. It also clearly places these profound journeys within that sacred mythic time when the great angakkuit undertook such awe-inspiring feats for the survival of their people.
Given the Inuits' hunter culture, it's clear their relationship with animals was paramount, deeply spiritual, a bond of respect, survival, shared existence, far beyond just pragmatism.
Precisely. They believed humans and animals were related, shared that atex soul which continued after death.
The name soul.
Right. This meant treating killed prey with profound respect was crucial, not just for practical reasons for future hunts, but for spiritual continuity, for the very cycle of life itself.
So how do they show that respect?
Through the proper handling of the carcass. This ensured the animal soul could return to its home, be reborn, and allow itself to be hunted again, thus sustaining the entire community.
Rituals, then.
Detailed and deeply spiritual rituals, which we see illuminated in this account by the catechist Johannes Hansen from the 1880s. It's about a polar bear hunt, detailed in text 3.3.
A catechist's account.
Yes, so it offers a rare outside glimpse, albeit through a specific lens, into the meticulous spiritual care involved.
This account of the polar bear hunt is incredibly detailed. It shows how every step was imbued with spiritual significance, a real testament to the Inuit worldview.
It really is.
For instance, immediately after the bear is killed, women eagerly gather around to drink its blood and claim parts of the animal.
Which sounds intense, but it isn't just about sustenance. It's a powerful, almost sacramental act, showing deep respect for the animal, a desire to absorb its strength, its essence, to become one with the hunted, and then come the deeply symbolic offerings. A meticulously choreographed ritual to ensure the bear's soul finds its way home.
How so?
Well, the bear's head is carefully placed facing northeast.
Why northeast?
That's the direction bears traditionally arrived from with the pack ice, so it symbolizes its origin and return path. Its nostrils are plugged with lamp moss.
Lamp moss.
Believed to prevent future bears from smelling the hunters, a kind of magical ward against detection. Its mouth is filled with fat, a treat offered to the spirit of the bear. And then the head is adorned with small, precious items, tiny knife blades, shimmering glass beads, miniature kayak soles.
Gifts.
Gifts, yes. Believed to be for the bear's ancestors, which the bear's soul will carry home, ensuring its honored reception in the spirit world.
And there's a time element, too, isn't there?
Crucially, the profound belief that the bear's soul takes 5 days to travel home means the head absolutely cannot be eaten before then.
Why not?
To do so would risk the soul dying en route, the offerings being lost, breaking the sacred cycle.
Okay.
So throughout this 5-day period, great care is taken. Avoid cutting the snout, avoid making any clinking sounds near the bear, all to ensure the soul's undisturbed journey for reincarnation.
It's an intricate system of belief, ritual, profound reverence for the continuity of life.
Absolutely. And then you have Johannes Hansen writing as a catechist.
The observer.
Right. He clearly views these practices as idolatry, heathen customs. which highlights the stark Christian bias of the observer and the immense cultural and spiritual clash that was beginning to unfold. He couldn't see the sophisticated spiritual system behind what he just labeled paganism.
This intricate, highly localized spiritual system, so deeply attuned to the rhythms of the Arctic, it would soon encounter a force from a profoundly different worldview.
Yes, 1721, a new chapter.
The arrival of European missionaries, spearheaded by the Danish-Norwegian priest Hans Ezede, bringing a spiritual paradigm that would utterly transform the landscape.
Bejed's mission initially was driven by these fears that Norse settlers, whose descendants he hoped to find.
Right, the old Viking settlement?
Exactly, that they might have reverted to heathen blindness or were unaware of the Reformation's changes from Catholicism to Lutheranism.
That there were no Norse left.
No, he quickly realized that. So his focus shifted entirely to the indigenous Inuit population. And, in the prevailing colonial spirit of the time, he viewed them through that paternalistic lens. Savages needing conversion to the true religion.
And his Christianity was specific.
Very much shaped by 17th century Protestantism. Salvation through faith alone, not works. And by pietism, which stressed personal conversion, heartfelt belief, devout living, often through intense introspection.
A very internal focus.
Right. This personal internal faith focused on a singular God, a path to individual salvation through unmerited grace. It was a stark contrast to the external, communal, ritual-focused Inuit beliefs.
Which were about maintaining balance through action.
Exactly. Maintaining cosmic balance through human action and reciprocal relationships with the spirit world. For Inuit, the Inuit system of taboos and offerings would have just looked like primitive works trying to earn salvation, rather than a sophisticated worldview maintaining a delicate ecological and spiritual equilibrium.
Unsurprisingly, this mission faced significant initial challenges, misunderstandings. Trying to introduce such a different worldview into an established spiritual landscape. It was bound to be complex, fraught with misinterpretation.
Absolutely. A major hurdle was just the language barrier, the immense difficulty of translating central Christian concepts: God, heaven, salvation, devil, original sin, hell.
Concepts that didn't exist.
Or concepts that lacked equivalent terms, or had terms that carried entirely different connotations in the Inuit worldview. Our sources note numerous misunderstandings that shaped early Greenlandic Christianity.
Likewise.
Well, for instance, the Inuit angakkuit's helper spirit, Tornarsuk,
Yeah.
it had this ambivalent role, often powerful but not inherently evil in traditional cosmology.
Yeah.
The missionaries quickly and forcefully equated it with the Christian devil.
Creating conflict.
Right, creating a direct conflict where perhaps none existed in the original framework. Furthermore, the mission faced direct, often fierce resistance from traditional Inuit religious authorities, the angakkuit.
The shamans.
Yes. These two figures, the angakkuit and the priest, soon became direct rivals for authority and influence within the communities, each offering a competing framework for understanding and influencing the world.
That makes perfect sense. As I was reading the material, something struck me. Given the profound role of the angakkuit, how might the Inuit have initially understood Hans Ezede, his arrival, his new rituals? Could he have been seen, at first anyway, as a powerful angakkuit himself?
That's a brilliant question, and it's something our sources indeed ponder. It's highly probable.
How so?
Well, consider it from an Inuit perspective. Anajit arrives from a distant land, has strange objects, speaks an unknown tongue, claims access to powerful unseen forces.
Right.
His ability to explain phenomena through a different lens, perform new rituals like baptism, wield the influence that came with European power, particularly tools and technologies. It could easily have been interpreted through their existing framework of spiritual specialists, people who could commune with and manipulate unseen forces. He was, essentially, a new kind of powerful angakkuit.
Bringing different spirits, different rules.
Exactly, challenging the established order. It highlights how existing worldviews filter and make sense of new information, trying to integrate it into familiar categories.
Indeed. After Hans Ezede left in 1735, the Christian mission continued. His son Paul Ezede played a significant role in consolidating it.
Right.
And crucially, young Greenlandic boys were trained in Christianity and Danish, becoming invaluable bridge builders to their communities, able to translate both language and concept, true cultural intermediaries.
These catechists were absolutely vital. As the sources suggest, it was a gradual process of conversion influenced by several powerful factors.
Such as?
Firstly, Christianity represented the religion of the powerful European colonizers. Adopting their religion could be seen as a path to aligning with this new source of authority, maybe offering material benefits or a measure of protection in a rapidly changing world.
Makes sense.
Secondly, the mission's message, deeply influenced by contemporary European theology, included vivid notions of sin, punishment, eternal damnation if one did not convert.
Which would have been new.
Profoundly new. For people whose traditional afterlives weren't about reward or punishment, this concept of eternal suffering would have been, well, terrifying, and a compelling motivator for conversion.
And there's an interesting speculation in our sources, too, that Christianity's less stringent views on the extensive traditional taboos and ritual obligations.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that appealed to some Inuit, offering a perceived lightness of burden compared to the daily demands of their traditional faith.
That's mentioned, yes.
However, it's also noted that Christian sources might have emphasized this for their own narrative, right? So we need to consider that bias.
That's a critical point about bias. While the idea of fewer taboos might have been appealing to some, it's equally important to recognize that the authority of the traditional angakkuit was gradually and systematically undermined by the Christian missionaries.
It wasn't just theological debate.
No, it was a power struggle. The missionaries actively discouraged, suppressed the practices of the angakkuit, reduced their societal role, their prestige. This erosion of traditional spiritual authority played a significant part in paving the way for the Christian faith to take deeper root. Communities lost their traditional spiritual intermediaries and turned to the new ones offered by the Europeans.
The Danish mission wasn't the only Christian influence, though. In 1733, a distinct approach arrived with the Moravian Brethren, the Herrnhuters.
Ah, yes, the Herrnhuters, a very different flavor of Christianity.
How so?
Well, their origins stemmed from followers of Jan Hus finding refuge in Herrnhut, Germany in the 1720s. Their Protestant evangelical approach emphasized a deep, personal, often emotional relationship with Jesus Christ.
Focused on his suffering.
Yes, focusing on his suffering and sacrifice, rather than the more dogmatic, institutional approach favored by the Danish state church. They often referred to Jesus as the Lamb.
What's fascinating about the Herrnhuters is their missionary approach. They were often laypeople, artisans, craftsmen, not ordained priests.
That's right.
And they typically stayed longer in Greenland, sometimes for decades, living among the Inuit.
Which fostered closer, more integrated ties with the population, building trust through shared daily life. They established numerous mission stations, becoming direct competitors to the Danish mission.
Creating a diverse, maybe confusing religious landscape.
Potentially, yes. Two distinct Christian traditions operating side by side. Their practices were quite distinct, too, fostering a unique communal experience.
Like what?
Herrnhuters divided their members into tightly knit choirs based on gender, age, marital status.
Friars.
Not just for singing, it created this highly disciplined environment for spiritual growth, mutual accountability, often involving intense self-examination, communal confession. They practiced strict church discipline and had unique celebrations focused intensely on Christ's passion.
And music was important.
Central. Music and choir singing were central to Herrnhut community life. A powerful tool for communal worship, emotional expression. They composed many hymns specific to their mission.
But they rejected traditional practices.
Vehemently. They rejected traditional drum dances, viewing them as connected to the detested angakkuit, incompatible with Christian belief, a direct suppression of a central cultural and spiritual practice.
But they left a legacy.
A profound and lasting one. Despite their eventual departure in 1900, their Greenlandic followers integrated into the Danish folk kirk. Many of their hymns remain in the Greenlandic hymn book today, a testament to their enduring cultural and spiritual influence.
By the mid-1800s, most West Greenlanders were baptized. A truly significant shift, and a crucial development was the training of Greenlandic catechists. Assistant priests, essentially, who could teach Christianity while often continuing their traditional hunting livelihoods, integrating the new faith with existing life patterns.
Indeed. Seminaries established in the 1840s, 1850s, especially the one in Nuuk, became central cultural and educational institutions. These formerly trained Greenlandic catechists weren't just religious instructors. They became driving forces in the early 20th century cultural renewal movement, the New Greenlanders. Groups like Pekkajigiat, founded 1908, actively sought to unite traditional hunter culture and Greenlandic language with Christian revival. aiming to forge a modern, forward-looking Greenlandic national identity that honored both heritage and new faith.
So it wasn't just religion, it was identity formation.
Absolutely, the profound act of collective self-definition.
However, despite widespread baptisms, the rise of Greenlandic Christian leaders, the representatives of the Danish church, still expressed concerns about what they perceived as superficial Christianity.
Yes, that tension persisted.
It seems there was this persistent struggle to reconcile the local expression of faith with European expectations.
Exactly. C.W. Schultz-Lorenzen, the head of the Godthaab Nuuk Seminary, articulated these concerns in a significant 1906 lecture.
What did he say?
Well, he acknowledged Greenlanders' wonderfully faithful adherence to the church, their lack of doubt in the truth of the word, but he nonetheless believed that pre-Christian beliefs practices still blocked their Christian development.
Exactly.
Yeah. He highlighted superstition and old paganism as dangerous enemies that needed to be aired out with the light of the gospel. It reveals that clear, colonial, Christian-centric lens. He also observed what he termed a poor moral resistance, stating that church teachings often had little impact on daily life. That concepts like high ideals of marriage struggled to take root in the Greenlandic context.
He mentioned women specifically.
Yes, specifically mentioned a perceived need to lift up Greenlandic women, reflecting a paternalistic view common among missionaries, often confusing cultural difference with moral deficiency.
Good.
Significantly, he critiqued what he saw as a something-for-something mentality among Greenlanders.
Ah, that idea again.
Yes, which he felt hindered their acceptance of God's free grace. And to really unpack that something-for-something mentality, we need to see it not as a simple transaction, but as that deeply embedded understanding of universal causality.
The Inuit worldview.
Right. Human actions, adhering to taboos, weren't just ethical choices. They were the levers maintaining cosmic balance, ensuring survival. So the Christian concept of free grace, divine favor being unearned, a gift would have been profoundly counterintuitive, unsettling even, challenging their entire framework of how the world operated and their responsibility within it.
But perhaps these concerns reveal more about the observer's expectations than the reality on the ground. Instead of superficiality, our sources introduce the really valuable concept of syncretism.
Exactly, a much more nuanced and respectful understanding.
What is syncretism exactly?
Syncretism, meaning growing together or blending, describes processes where cultural encounters lead to the merging of elements from different religious traditions, creating a new, distinct expression of faith.
So a fusion.
A unique fusion, yes. In Greenland, this meant a fusion of traditional Inuit religious beliefs and Protestant Christianity. Our sources offer compelling examples. The Greenlandic priest, Andreas Hansen, observed in 1908 that pages from a hymn book were placed in kayaks or under a deceased person's pillow,
As protection.
functioning precisely like traditional amulets to ward off evil. The Christian artifact was reinterpreted, integrated into an existing protective ritual.
Interesting.
Similarly, the tradition of naming children after deceased relatives to transfer their characteristics rooted in the belief of the Atek soul.
A name soul.
That persisted, integrating a traditional belief about identity and continuity into a Christian context. The spirit of the tradition lived on, even if the explicit terminology might have shifted.
And this isn't unique to Greenland.
Not at all. This development mirrors countless other instances globally where Christian missions met local traditions, leading to new and diverse expressions of Christianity rather than a complete replacement. It's a testament to the adaptive capacity of human spirituality.
Okay, let's fast forward to today. Christianity, specifically the Lutheran Church, is deeply rooted in Greenland. The official state church claiming about 85% of the population as members. Clearly the dominant religious institution, a direct legacy of the missions.
It is. However, like many Western societies, Greenland has seen declining church attendance, especially among younger generations.
Does that mean people are less religious?
Not necessarily, but the form and content of religiosity are undergoing significant change. The religious landscape is also becoming more pluralistic.
How so?
Various Christian-free churches, Jehovah's Witnesses, Baha'i communities coexisting, particularly in cities like Nuuk, reflecting a broader trend of individualization, diversification in faith expressions. People are finding spirituality in new ways, or maybe reconnecting with older ones.
What's fascinating amidst this changing landscape is the renewed interest in traditional Inuit religion. It's not just a relic of the past. It seems to be finding new life, new relevance in contemporary Greenland.
That's right, and our sources suggest several compelling reasons for this resurgence.
Are they?
Firstly, elements of traditional beliefs have stubbornly survived alongside Christianity, particularly in smaller, more isolated communities where daily life remains intimately connected to the land and sea.
Just beneath the surface.
Sometimes, yes. As seen in the Christianization of other societies, like Denmark itself, traditional customs and worldviews can persist for generations, sometimes with altered meanings or integrated subtly into the new faith framework, existing just beneath the surface.
And secondly?
Secondly, and perhaps more powerfully, there's been this growing interest in traditional Greenlandic life patterns since the national and political awakening of the 1960s and 70s.
The Home Rule movement era.
Exactly. The civic movement in the 1970s, for example, actively revived traditional summer gatherings, drum dancing, kayaking, oral storytelling. These movements are deeply tied to forging an independent Greenlandic national identity,
Centered on tradition.
centered on traditional Inuit culture and the essential hunting livelihood, demonstrating how deeply intertwined culture, identity, and religion are in the process of self-determination.
The continued significance of traditional religion in Christian Greenland. It's long captivated theologians and researchers, a rich field for understanding cultural resilience, reinterpretation. The Danish theologian Mogens Heinsberger published influential books in the 1990s based on extensive interviews with Greenlanders, offering a contemporary inside perspective on these complex dynamics, directly questioning the depth of Christian conversion.
Heinsberger, yes. He cautiously concluded that central Christian concepts like sin, grace, Jesus Christ as Savior, they played a relatively small role for many of his interviewees.
Really?
Yeah. He observed that Greenlandic Christianity has never been and is not today in full accordance with the Church's confessions, suggesting a divergence from European theological norms.
How did they see God then?
He noted that East Greenlanders find great comfort in being children of God, often describing God as the embodiment of the powers that govern existence, with a traditional understanding of God as creator and Jesus as savior largely absent in their personal expressions of faith.
And the something for something idea?
He highlighted its persistence, yes, suggesting a continuity with a traditional worldview where human actions directly influence cosmic outcomes, rather than a full embrace of unearned divine grace. His findings painted this picture of a Christianity deeply reshaped by its encounter with Inuit traditions, not simply replacing it.
However, Heinsberger's research wasn't without its critiques, was it?
No, it wasn't. The journalist Han Goldberg Mikkelsen, in text 3.7a, offered sharp critiques.
What's her point?
She suggested Heinsberger sometimes massaged his preconceptions into the material, inadvertently finding what he expected to find. She questioned his interpretations,
For example?
like equating a woman's bad conscience about missing church with ancient taboo-breaking guilt, or interpreting near-death experiences as shamanic soul journeys, when they might simply reflect widespread modern narratives of near-death experiences common across many cultures, not necessarily direct evidence of persistent Inuit beliefs.
So maybe reading too much into it.
That was her argument. Her core point was vital. Instead of labeling local expressions of faith as superficial Christianity, which was a term often used by European missionaries,
Right.
it's more accurate to recognize that each culture has its own understanding of Christianity, born from the fusion of old and new. She highlights that the process of religious conversion always involves integration, adaptation, reinterpretation, not just complete replacement.
So judging local Christianity against an external standard misses the point.
Exactly. It misses the reality of syncretism and the dynamic nature of faith. This critique is essential for understanding how researchers themselves can sometimes project their own cultural lenses onto the phenomena they study. It urges us to approach cultural expressions of faith with greater openness and nuance.
To bring this right into the personal realm, the renowned Greenlandic actor and musician Rasmus Leiberth offers a powerful contemporary example of this evolving spirituality. It's detailed in text 3.8. His personal journey truly embodies the blend of traditions we're discussing.
Leiberth's story is fascinating. He describes finding profound peace after a personal crisis by consciously embracing both traditional Greenlandic religion and a Christian stance.
Both.
Yes. He prays to Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and God, daily clear Christian devotion. Yet he also regularly visits healers and spirit callers, or angakkuit.
And he sees no conflict.
None at all. He asserts Jesus was the greatest healer in history, thereby integrating Christian figures into a broader indigenous healing tradition. For him, meditation and prayer are daily rituals connecting into a vast, multifaceted spiritual world.
And traditional practices.
He has profoundly rediscovered the heartbeat of ancient drum dances. He calls it an invisible umbilical cord to life and to my old culture, demonstrating a deep personal connection to his heritage that strengthens his overall spiritual life.
And strikingly, Lieberth explicitly states 100% belief in reincarnation.
Yes, seeing the soul as wandering, accumulating wisdom through multiple lives, he shares that it is very normal for us Greenlanders to talk about reincarnation.
Which connects back to the Aztec soul.
Exactly. It's a significant point, showcasing a direct, conscious continuation of traditional Inuit soul beliefs existing alongside his Christian faith.
So his approach is eclectic.
Perfectly exemplifies eclecticism, yeah. An individual actively assembling their religious convictions from diverse traditions based on personal needs, spiritual resonance.
Which is quite modern in a way.
Resonates strongly with late modern religiosity, where individuals are increasingly free to combine elements from various sources, Christian, Eastern, meditation, indigenous healing, to construct their own spiritual path.
Has he faced criticism?
He has from some priests for his inclusive approach. But he emphasizes the importance of maintaining one's own cultural roots while exploring faith, reflecting a very modern, individualized spiritual journey that is nonetheless deeply connected to and enriched by tradition.
This blend of traditional and modern spirituality, the persistence of unseen forces, it can even enter the political arena, as shown by that controversial incident in 2002-2003 involving the Greenland Home Rule government.
Ah, yes, that incident. It highlights the potent, often public space for these complex spiritual ideas.
What happened exactly?
The newly appointed administrative director, Jens Lieberth, made headlines. He controversially hired a healer, Mangwak Bertelsen, to conduct a remote healing.
Remote healing.
Of what?
Of the Home Rule government administration itself.
Wow.
Bertelsen explicitly stated, the Greenlandic spirit and identity has been violently suppressed in the Home Rule government. It is built on rules, laws, and bureaucracy which suppress the Greenlandic soul. She invoked powerful spirits, even figures like Moses and the Lord of Power, to help in this spiritual cleansing.
And how is this interpreted?
Widely seen as a deeply symbolic move by the then Hans Enoksen faction within the government, a way to directly challenge Danish influence in Greenlandic administration.
A spiritual assertion of identity.
Exactly, an assertion of a distinct Greenlandic spiritual and cultural identity, using spiritual means to address perceived political and bureaucratic ills.
Unsurprisingly, this case caused an uproar, a national controversy. Oh, definitely. It drew sharp criticism from Greenland's bishop, Sophie Petersen, and from various politicians. They saw it as inappropriate for a public institution.
What were the causes?
Jens Lieberth was ultimately fired, and the political coalition dissolved shortly after, showing the immediate, tangible consequences of such an act.
So it raised big questions.
Important and profound questions about the public space for religious and spiritual matters in Greenland compared to, say, Denmark, where such actions in government would be unthinkable. It also sparked intense debate. Were these practices genuine continuations of traditional Inuit religion, a form of modern angakkuit? Or were they new trends, invented traditions, adapting ancient motifs to a modern political context?
And the answer?
Our sources suggest it was likely a powerful mix of both, drawing on traditional motifs like angakkuit journeys for communal healing, but clearly within a modern, politically charged context, showcasing the dynamic living nature of syncretism and the ongoing negotiation of identity in Greenland.
To wrap up our journey, let's consider the insightful reflections of Finn Lenge, a Greenlandic former Catholic priest, politician, official. His perspective on religion in Greenland, as presented in Text 3.9, adds another layer of depth.
Lenge's reflections are really valuable. He argues provocatively that the old Greenlandic spirit belief is not dead.
Just hidden.
It merely exists in different forms, he suggests. He points to the widespread prevalence of ghost stories and the quiet, often hidden use of amulets.
Amulet.
Yes. Often disguised as mere decoration, maybe figures carved from walrus ivory or reindeer antler worn on a leather strap. Believed to offer protection on the land and sea, warding off malevolent forces. Critically, he notes, people don't talk about these things to outsiders.
Highlighting a private, resilient dimension of belief.
Exactly, persisting beneath the surface of official Christianity, maintaining its power in personal lives.
And he offers a particularly poignant observation about the sea woman.
Yes, suggesting she lives but has changed abode.
Changed abode.
She's no longer believed to be literally at the bottom of the sea, especially, he notes, with modern trawlers scraping for scallops, challenging that literal interpretation. Instead, he says she has moved to the Greenlandic Parnassus.
A metaphorical realm.
Yes. Serving as a powerful muse, a connector for artists engaging with the spiritual forces of the past. Yet, the deep sea still holds the mightiest, most elemental power, he says, referencing a Greenlandic hymn. In the depths of the sea, there you meet your God.
Beautifully integrating tradition and Christianity.
Isn't it? He's quite critical of academic researchers from well-ordered and safe desks, asking what he perceives as silly questions about Greenlanders' Christian faith, asserting simply, it is.
Implying it's complex.
He believes the old forces are stirring precisely because the human soul is manifold, suggesting a complex, multifaceted spirituality that cannot be easily categorized or quantified by external, singular frameworks. He's essentially saying the experience of faith is richer, more varied than scholarly classifications allow.
He also offers a nuanced take on the growing interest in the world of the angakkuit.
Yes. While acknowledging it, he provocatively suggests it might simply be New Time's experience of the freedom to talk about interests of this kind.
Meaning it was always there.
The world of spirits, he implies, has always held its fascination for Greenlanders. Perhaps modern society simply allows for its more open expression and exploration, rather than necessarily creating entirely new beliefs. It reminds us that cultural shifts can sometimes reveal long-held beliefs that were previously private or suppressed, not always create entirely new ones.
What an incredible journey through the spiritual landscape of Greenland we've taken today. From the intricate balance of Inuit cosmology, that profound respect for all of existence, to the enduring influence and creative reinterpretation of Christianity, it really makes you think about how faith evolves, adapts, doesn't it? The sheer resilience, the adaptability of human spirituality in the face of immense cultural change is truly astounding.
It truly does. This deep dive underscores that religion is never static. It's a living, breathing aspect of culture, constantly shaped by encounters, personal experiences, societal shifts, demonstrating both remarkable continuity with the past and astonishing innovation in the present.
Yeah.
The way traditional concepts found new life within a Christian framework, or how modern Greenlanders blend the ancient with the contemporary, it speaks volumes about the human spirit's boundless capacity for adaptation and spiritual meaning-making.
And perhaps the most provocative thought for you, our listener, to ponder after this deep dive is this. In a world increasingly striving for modern identities, facing global challenges, what enduring wisdom do these ancient traditions offer us about our relationship with nature, with each other, with the unseen forces that shape our lives? What can we learn from a worldview so deeply attuned to balance and interconnection that personal ethics could literally impact the weather?
Indeed. And what does it mean to be truly well-informed about a place when its spiritual foundations are so complex, so multifaceted, existing not in rigid boxes, but in this constant flow of reinterpretation? It's a question that invites continuous curiosity, I think, and a profound respect for diverse worldviews, urging us to look beyond surface-level observations to the hidden depths of human experience.
That's all for this deep dive into Greenlandic religion. Thank you for joining us on the Religious Studies Podcast.
Thanks for listening.
If you've enjoyed this exploration, please take a moment to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and maybe leave a 5-star rating. It really helps us reach even more curious listeners like you and continue these fascinating conversations.
It does indeed.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive.